loves. My name is Stephanie Lester. Welcome back to my Overcoming Fear series. This is episode 3. I kind of found myself wrestling with this topic on whether or not to share it. And God just kept saying, share it, share it. Someone out there needs to hear this message. So like most of my videos, I'm about to be really raw and uncut with you all on this topic. Let's get started. 2015 was just a year where my body just went through, and not only my body but my mind. I went through so many physical and emotional situations that just kind of just led me to this downward spiral where I had multiple panic attacks. I fell into a depression, and I went on like this for about 8 months because, as a Christian, you're told, you shouldn't be going through these things because all you have to do is just pray it away. And if you just pray, it's going to all go away and it's all going to work out, which again, I wish it was that easy. And so if you know someone that's going through something right now, please don't just tell them just to pray it away. Be that person for them, call them, check on them, pray with them, give them scripture to meditate on. Don't just tell them to get over it, because if they could get over it and just snap out of it, like some people say, guarantee they will. I think after having like 5 panic attacks, I'm not even joking, 5 panic attacks in one day, and I went through a week of no sleep, because with me, and when I'm in my anxious state, not only does my mind feel like it's running on a treadmill, like no matter what I did, my mind just could not calm down, which again, it's a mind-body connection. So because my mind was all over the place and just going haywire, my body was also experiencing the physicalness of just an emotional toll. And I finally had enough, and I had a mental breakdown. I was so disconnected with reality that I remember one time I was driving, and I was just, my mind was somewhere else, and I ran a red light. Thank the Lord that there were no other cars coming, but I remember running the red light, and it made me snap out of it and realizing, oh my God. And so I pulled over and kind of just broke down crying, like what, like my mind was just in another zone. And those of you that have gone through this, you know what I'm talking about. You know when your mind is just not there. This was day 3 of no sleep because my heart was racing. I was crying at any and everything. I remember my husband was getting ready for work, and I had called in sick. This was like the 3rd time in a row calling in sick, and my job was trying to be as supportive as they could be, but not also at the same time not really knowing and understanding what I was going through, which was really, really hard in itself. So I remember I physically just couldn't go into work. I hadn't slept, and when you don't sleep, your mind it just takes a toll on your body, physically for sure. I physically felt sick. I remember feeling nauseated. I remember having such a huge headache. I remember feeling like I had the flu. Like you have like flu-like symptoms because your body's so exhausted, and your body needs that rest to replenish. And I just had no time for that. I just couldn't do it. So as my husband was getting ready for work, I remember trying to get up and trying to go to work, taking a shower and brushing my hair. And I remember chunks of my hair was falling out because I was so stressed out. I was losing weight. I was the thinnest I had been in so long, and I had no appetite. It was just an awful, awful time. My husband just could see the sadness in my eyes, in my heart. We called my therapist. I was hysteric on the phone and just basically begging her I needed to come in, and I needed to come in today, and I needed to come in with my husband. Something's got to give. I'm not okay. I remember walking into the appointment. I remember sitting on her couch. I remember her, talking to my husband. And I remember them both at one point asking me a question, but it felt like an out-of-body experience. Like I was physically there, but my body and soul was outside of my body because there was no connection. I just felt no connection. Like I was in another world, and it was an overwhelming sense of doom. Like, I felt like if I don't go and get help today, right now, in this moment, I'm gonna have the worst panic attack that is gonna kill me. That's literally how I felt. I remember, I think they said, both my husband and her said my name, and like by the third time they shouted my name, I like finally snapped out of it and looked at her, and I remember her asking, "Are you okay? What are you feeling right now?" And I remember vividly looking her in the face and crying hysterically, telling her, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I feel like I'm gonna die. I feel like an overwhelming sense of doom. Like, I'm gonna die any minute now, and I don't want to die. I want to live. I just want to give my husband a baby. I just want a baby. I just want this to be over with." She looked at me and she said, "You know, Steph, I think you need to go to a hospital." And when she said that, I thought, okay, yes, please let them put an IV in me. Just let them check my vitals. Just give me oxygen, something. I just feel so overwhelmed and so, God, like I needed help. And she said, no, I think you need to go to a mental hospital. And I looked at her like, I'm not mental. I'm grieving. I'm overcome with grief. I'm not suicidal. I don't want to end my life. It's the total opposite. I just want nothing more but to live. And I remember her saying, "I understand that, sweetheart, but a mental hospital is going to give you the tools that you need to get over this, because you do have an overwhelming sense of doom and grief, and a hospital isn't just a normal hospital, isn't going to do anything for you. They're going to check your vitals and say that you're fine and send you on your way. You need to go to a mental hospital." At that point, I felt so overwhelmed that I think I agreed to it. I said, okay. And I told her, I just need my husband there. That's all I need. As long as he can be there with me through this whole thing, I'm okay. And when she told me that they're probably going to check you in and they're not going to let him come with you, and when she said that, I was like, no, that I refuse to go. When she said, as a therapist, I have to recommend that to you. But so she gave me the number, and then I remember her also saying, if you don't want to do that, then you can go see a psychiatrist, which again was another hard thing, because I just felt like no one's listening. I'm just going through a lot emotionally, and I just need, you know what, guys, I felt like I really needed Jesus. I really needed him to physically come down and lift me up and just rescue me, because I was tired. Physically, emotionally, I was tired. So we left there, and I remember my husband, asking me, "Babe, what do you want? What do you want to do?" And I remember telling him, I need help, but I don't want to do this without you. I need you. I remember meeting with a psychiatrist. I don't even know what I was expecting. He was a very, very nice guy, and definitely helped me in a sense of getting me on the right antidepressant that was going to help me and help subside some of those anxiety and panic attacks. I just needed those anxiety and panic attacks to be taken down a notch. And the main thing was I wasn't getting sleep, so that was really what was just causing me to just lose my mind, literally. He prescribed me, I can't even remember what it was, but I remember it being like almost like a tranquilizer. It was horrible, y'all. I remember taking it, and then I remember it did put me to sleep. It did not keep me asleep. I woke up like 2 hours later gasping for air, and my heart was like going bananas. And I said, nope. I flushed those down the toilet. I said, no, those aren't it. And it just seemed like everything that they were trying just wasn't helping me. It was like my body was just it was getting worse. It was just, it's like my body was just refusing to relax. Like anything I tried to do, my body was just refusing to relax. So I remember going back to the psychiatrist and just pleading with him and just saying, this isn't working. And I remember him saying, okay, kiddo, you got to go to Green Oaks. Green Oaks is a mental hospital here in Dallas. I took that pretty hard because I thought, I'm not suicidal, I'm not mental, there's just so many things that, there's just such a negative name against it, against having to go to a mental institution. So, but again, I was desperate, so I ended up saying, okay. I remember going to the mental hospital. I felt the lowest of lowest. It just felt like, how did I get here? We drive up to the mental hospital. We go in. I remember them asking me just a million questions, and I guess they just want to make sure that you aren't a threat to yourself or to society. And I remember the guy basically asking me, okay, so you've been through some miscarriages, tell me a little bit about that. As soon as he said that, I remember breaking down, ugly crying, and just saying, I'm overwhelmed. Ugh. Thinking about that, that was tough. I just remember crying hysterically and just telling him I'm overwhelmed. I am overcome with grief. I'm overcome with sadness. I'm overcome with the fact that I can't give my husband a baby. And right now, as I think about that and my mind goes back to that time, I'm also grateful because God has brought me through it, y'all. He is good. He is good. He will get you through the pits of your despair. That was the lowest of lowest. And I had to go through that to find out for myself, to prove to myself that God is your rock. He is with you. He is there for you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. And I had to go through that to find myself again and to strengthen the relationship with God, so that whatever else I go through, no matter what I go through from here on out, I know that God is with me, and I know that He's going to get me through, and I know He's going to get you through. So I really, really need you to understand that. This was my lowest point of my life, being driven up to a mental hospital by my mother-in-law. So I'm supposed to be a Christian. I'm supposed to be a woman of God. And this isn't talked about in our community. But just because you're a Christian and just because you're a person of God doesn't mean you're not going to go through things. If you look at the Bible and you look at people in the Bible and you look at people that God has used, every single one of them has gone through anxiety. Jesus himself, how many times he pleaded with God, like, if this is not your will, like, then take it away. He wrestled with that. He wrestled with that. So it's okay if you're wrestling with something. It's okay if you're going through something. Don't let nobody tell you that just because you're a Christian, you're supposed to act this way, or just because, you believe in God, this is how it's supposed to be. Because at the end of the day, no one is your God. No one but God is your God. And it doesn't matter where you go, He will find you. Ask and you shall receive. Knock and you will find. God is there. He is there. And He will allow you to go through some of the hardest things in your life. But when you come out of that, you come out of that so much stronger, so much more at peace with yourself. I am so much more at peace with myself today than I was 4 years ago, but I had to go through that 4 years ago to be the woman that I am today, to be able to talk to someone right now and tell you that it is okay. You will get better. You will find God. Keep seeking Him. He is there with you every step of the way. Okay? Felt the Spirit there, so I had to go there. So basically they told me that I wasn't a threat to myself or to society, but that I definitely was struggling, having just a mental breakdown. All the things that I've gone through was just definitely for sure that I was grieving way beyond myself. I remember going back to the psychiatrist and just begging him and pleading with him, just saying, you know what, I just need a week off. I just need a week off to get on this medication and just relax and try to get my mind to relax. And this is the craziness about our country and how mental health is just not, it's just lacking. it's just the word that comes to my mind, just crap. I mean, I don't know what other word to use. Like, it's just non-existent. It's a joke. It's a joke. So I couldn't get a week off for my mental health, for the health of my well-being, to regroup. And because he couldn't just give it to me off, he said, I suggest you doing the group therapy sessions. That's gonna give you time off without you losing your job. So I almost felt like I was forced to do the group therapy session. So right off the bat, I was like, that sucks, but if that's what's gonna allow me to take a week off without losing my job, obviously I'm gonna do it. I remember I had my in-laws drop me off, which was so, it was just terrible. It was just sad feeling like, here you are I'm gonna make light of the situation, being dropped off. I felt like dropped off to emotional school. I don't know what I was thinking, but my in-laws ended up dropping me off. And I remember we were in a group setting, and everyone introduced themselves. Everyone talked about kind of what they were going through. What was very alarming to me was that I was the only one in the group who did not attempt suicide and who had not been an inpatient in Green Oaks. So I was the only one who was coming in as an outpatient, never being in, like, checked in. So everyone, it was just definitely different levels of situations, and it woke me up. I remember we had a break, and I remember calling my husband. I remember crying hysterically and telling him, this is not it. This is not where I want to be. I need you to come get me. Like, I did not feel the presence of God in that room. I didn't feel like he was there at all. And I just remember, I'm not even gonna lie, I took the I'm better than this approach. This isn't what I need. This is not me. Sorry, God, that I was acting cray-cray before and acting like I was losing my mind. Thanks for showing me it really wasn't. Okay, let me leave. After I got the phone with my husband, I remember God telling me, you are here to be the light. I have allowed you to go through the situation to be the light. This is not out of vain. This is going to equip you even more for ministry, because God had called me to ministry. And so God was like, I need you to go through this, because I need you to really understand when you have someone that's coming to you and really needs prayer, and they say they're suicidal, or they are having a tough time, they're emotionally, or they've lost a child, or I need you to really know what they're going through. I remember leaving that day, praying that night, and just saying, okay, God, okay, I'm gonna be the light. I don't know why you've allowed me to get here, to go this far, to hit rock bottom this hard, but I'm gonna speak your word. And that's exactly what I did. Every day that I went in there, I prayed before I went into that building. I prayed when I left. I prayed that no spirits followed me in and no spirits followed me out to my home, that I am a woman of God. And I prayed for every single person in our group, because there were a lot of people that were hurting. And I needed to see that. I needed to know that. And I needed to know that you never know what someone's going through, but at the same time, God's there. Every day we had to go around the room and talk about our coping skills and what coping skills that we used. And every day when it was my turn, I definitely used that opportunity to speak the word of God. I would give out scripture. I remember Stephen Furtick came out with a phenomenal message over anxiety. I think it was like waves or something. I just remember it coming out around that time. And I talked about the video and some of the things that Stephen Furtick was preaching on. And I remember this girl, after I said it, she was like, what was the name of that pastor? And she literally wrote it down and was like, thank you so much. So, and she wasn't the only one. Other people were writing it down too. So I felt like, okay, this is what I'm here for. I'm here. These people definitely, were hurting like I was. and we all needed some Jesus. You know, God says, put on your armor. This was my armor. I needed to go through this. This was my boot camp. This was my boot camp for the battlefield, for the, ministry. You go through so many things and you deal with so many things. And this was definitely my battlefield. And I definitely needed it to come out stronger. And I definitely also needed it to know that you think you have it bad, but you really don't. We need to love on people that are having a tough time. We need to speak the truth and speak truth into them. We need to help and encourage them. Okay, y'all, definitely feel like I rambled a lot and said a lot, but I definitely needed to do that. I needed you to know that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Get the help, because I am free. I am anxiety free. I am worry free. Yes, you have your occasional worries about life. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have anxiety anymore completely, or I don't have fears, I don't have worries, because, hey, I went through cancer last year and that was scary in itself. But because of the things that I've gone through, I definitely have the tools in my back pocket, and I know exactly how to overcome things. And you will too. You will figure it out. God is with you, and I'm praying for you, and just know that it will get better. Okay? Hope you all have a blessed day. Bye.